migration, and that his 10-year forecast would, we made that resolution 2 months ago. So we need a new resolution, other than to inform the delegation that we're reaffirming the resolution we passed 2 months ago.
So the motion should be that we receive the report and confirm our original resolution to have it in the 10-year forecast.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't, no, but I think we need to clearly indicate that staff have addressed the concerns that were raised in the delegation. Because this is why the report's here. It wouldn't have been here had there not been a delegation. So I want that clearly.
Okay, so staff has addressed the concerns of the delegation and no further action.
We support our original motion.
Right. It's okay with the seconder?
And that should be the
Okay. All in favor of that? That's carried. You want to record your vote? All those in favor of that? Okay. Those opposed? Okay. 8.14, water meter replacement program thermal expansion. This is information report for council. Any questions on that report? Motion to receive and file.
No, I have a question. Through you to Brent, I found it interesting that we are installing equipment, municipal equipment, that I as a homeowner have to ensure it won't impact on the plumbing in my house.
We as the municipality don't know all the intricate details of a homeowner's plumbing system. We don't ask to confirm everything. We present them with their standards, say this is our standard installation, that you are now have the obligation to ensure that your home's plumbing system is compatible with this.
Right, now I read that in your report, but I guess what I'm asking is if I'm what Councilor Russell called Joe Blow on the street or whatever, when you're about to change out my meter, is there a piece of information that can tell me whether or not plumbing I have?
I think that's really what this report addresses, is that piece was lacking from the program this year, and that's moving forward into next year. The homeowner will be presented with an exact copy of the letter we're providing the homeowners at this point in time.
And ways of means of determining, so I'm not, you know, and I'll tell you why, Brent, because I get into this thing where people now are trying to develop land and they're incurring $6,000 and $8,000 costs on environmental assessments because M&R have now identified species of risk, and it's like it's almost becoming double dipping or a penalty to be a homeowner these days. You can't turn around, but there's some government agency telling you you need to do this, but your taxes don't cover it, and so that's my
Motion to
I'll move to receive.
second by Councilor Russell. Question?
No, I was just wondering, the only question I was is like about information dissemination. Would this be going onto the website?
Yeah,
Is it information like that first page sometimes?
Yeah,
the latest, greatest?
Yeah.
Because when I read this, I went to look at mine. First thing I did, got up,
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's
checked it out, and realized there was one on it, but I didn't even know what it was. You know, I mean, I knew what it was, but I didn't know what this. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions over here?
No, good.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next report is sidewalk replacement policy for information of council. Approved by Deputy Mayor Day, receive and file. Second by Councilor Cook. Councilor Russell.
Discuss.
To receive and file. If you have a question regarding it.
Phone will ring.
Does that deter you?
I'm just saying, it's obviously it's a policy, right?
It's anticipating it,
I
yes.
anticipate. So obviously,
Councilor Cook.
Is it a change of policy?
No.
it is the policy.
Yeah, this is the policy.
It's the reconstruction, so you're taking, I guess you're taking the sidewalk out to meet the policies. And I went, when I read it, so that's why I was asking. It is, I think the policy now, that I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
All in favor of that?
That's what you want.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. 8.16, we have had Mr. Belchamber here to talk to us. 8.17, this is for information that was requested by council and it's been provided. Deputy Mayor Day?
I'll just make a motion for receiving final.
Okay, seconded for that. Councilor McGuire? Questions regarding that? All in favor of that? Carried, thank you. 8.18, there's a recommendation on page 129. This is for the reserve fund allocations for the year. Councilor Russell?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Councilor Russell, seconded Councilor Underwood. Question, Deputy Mayor Day?
Yes, I would just like to ask a question of Janet through you, if I could. Janet, do I understand correctly that you're anticipating transferring $315,000 for the North End collection system over to reserves?
Which page is that on?
133,
Yeah, on the last page of the capital summary. The
yes.
315, I think if you recall, we identified that when we had our rate study review, and basically it's going to be funded over the 3-year cumulative impact study.
Yeah, and what's that for exactly? Because at this point, there is no collection system in Zone 3, right? So,
That was all the work on the EA and everything that was done prior.
okay, so you're talking past expenses, engineering expenses. Okay. Thank you.
Nope.
Yeah, there's, okay.
Any other questions? All in favor of that? Carried. And report 32 is the operating and capital budget. Is the recommendation on page 134. The council adopts the 2013 operating capital budget presented in the report 32 and passed bylaw 23. Councilor Underwood.
Yes, I moved that.
Move that recommendation. Councilor McGuire, second that. Questions? Deputy Mayor Day.
Yes, I just want to state publicly in this forum that I have major reservations with passing this budget until council has complete clarity about the difference between the $9.6 million and the 7 point, that we are passing this year, in contrast to the $7.6 million that was the taxation levy in 2010. I don't believe that we can fully account for that yet, and so I have a major reservation with passing this budget until we have complete clarity.
Okay, thanks for that. Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed?
I think recorded vote for that, please.
All in favor of the budget recommendation?
You guys have voted before.
Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. There you go. 8.20 is the appointment of integrity commissioner and looking for direction. There's a report on page 144. Mr. Munster.
I'm wondering on this one, Mr. Mayor, if it would be easier, before we make a motion, that we may have some ensuing discussion about some of the points that are raised here, because truthfully, through you to the clerk, this is a remarkable report. This really crosses T's and dots I's. I have a few questions, just more procedural than anything, but I'm not sure if we're ready to make a motion before we kind of have some discussion on it.
Make a motion to receive it for discussion.
Okay.
Second by Councilor Scott. All in favor of that? Carried. So let's discuss it.
Okay, perfect.
Councilor Bonsteel.
Thank you. We're going to break ground on some of this, because we're setting a precedent. For example, the complaint that I have put forward doesn't name anybody specifically. I'm also a defendant, so I'm a complainant and a defendant, which is interesting. So,